All right. Hold on. We'll get started in a sec. Let me just get going here. All right. All righty. Let me go check something here. All right. Hang tight for 1 sec. All right. All right. Let's edit this real quick, and then we're going to start. Ain't going to be on too long. Definitely about an hour and a half. Definitely going to hang in tight. Hold on 1 second. Let's get this going here. All right. All right. 26th. All right. Looks like we all set up there. Let's get out of there. We are good to go. All right. Again, ain't gonna keep this too long. All right, infernal blessings to everybody. I want to welcome everybody. And hold on 1 sec. Still working through something here. Hold on 1 sec. Sorry about that. Thing froze up. I think we good. We back. All right, let me just set up here and try to make a little room. All right, hope everybody that does participate in Christmas had a good Christmas. No, it's the day after. I will be posting also a video later that I recorded earlier today. But I also wanted to come on here live just to also give some quick updates, especially for the end of the year 2023, 2024 prophecy class. I moved that up 1 day. I just want to put that out there right out the gate here in the beginning. For maybe those that don't get to the recording right away, I also want to put it out here live. So we're moving it up 1 day to the 28th instead of the 29th. So that class will be this upcoming Thursday, October 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if you're on Instagram, if you're on Patreon, you did get a notification. I think I did it yesterday or the day before. I can't remember with everything that's going on right now. You automatically got the notification. I did update the post and the link, so it is current. If you are on Patreon, you automatically have access to that class. If you're a Patreon member, All you have to do is go to the post on Thursday evening, just like all the other classes, click the class, and you're in the class. If you're not a Patreon member, you do need to sign up to participate in that class. It is a class that's going to be only on Patreon and for people that sign up for that class, okay? So the information on how to sign up and pay by PayPal or Cash App, that information is on all the platforms. You can find it on Primordial Chaos 9 Instagram. You can find it on Primordial Chaos on Facebook, and we're live streaming on both of those platforms right now. And you can find it here in the community section on YouTube. So if you want to sign up for those classes, you can do that. But the best way, obviously, to get in on all the classes that I do, you want to go to the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page, patreon.com /Baniti, Baniti. Tier 3, that gives you access to all of the classes that I do on Patreon. I do 3 every month, in addition to one group ritual. And again, when you do join the Patreon page, you don't just get access to the classes from the day you join moving forward. You do get access to everything in the archives. Everybody always emails me about that. So you have full access to everything in the archives. And that's all the ongoing series of classes. They're all in chronological order now. They're all categorized. And when you join the Patreon, you go to a section that says the collection section. And everything is in chronological order. Very easy to find because there's a ton of classes on there. So it wasn't organized at first, but it is organized now. You used to have to just scroll down through the main post page, but not no more. Everything is very organized in chronological number order. So you could take the classes in between the ongoing series of classes. So for an example, shadow work classes 18 and counting, you can do them in order in between when we do these continual ongoing series. New content is always added. So if you can't get to the live classes, you could always watch the recordings. Always encouraged to get to the live classes. Better to participate and engage with everybody else in the class. And as I've said before, I go in more deeper in depth there. I'll talk about stuff there on Patreon that I usually wouldn't openly talk about on YouTube, and that's the purpose of the page. Tier 3, that's the tier you want to join again, and that gives you access to this upcoming class on Thursday night, plus all the other classes. All right. If you are interested in a 2024 yearly forecast reading, I'm doing them now up until roughly the first week in February, give or take. And as I've been saying on the recorded videos I've been uploading, is very busy with that right now. And I can't even put into words how busy. It's nonstop. So if you book one, more than likely will not be able to get to you till after New Year's, which is about a week from now, 6 days, 5-6 days or whatever. I'll be doing some the next couple of days, and then come the weekend again, I'll be, shutting down, finishing out the holiday season. And then after that, obviously, we'll get back in gear. We'll start off our new year like we usually started off the last 3 years. We'll get back into our ritual work. The work continues. I'm going to go a lot more in depth in that class on Thursday night, which I'm not going to get into that stuff here. A lot of stuff that I need to, share with you guys, as I've been doing what I hope everybody else has been doing, their own personal work during this time. As our season, which really, as I said before, starts, during the, Halloween season. That's why we have the conference around that time, and then it leads up into what we're in now. Also, real quick, let me also throw a couple other things out there, and then we'll get into it. Also, if you're interested in any other reading, all the information I'm telling you is right at the bottom of the screen. Santa Muerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings, deity readings, shadow work readings, Klepothic demonic readings, any of the aforementioned, or a spiritual consultation, just shoot me an email. Also, send me your days and times you're available in your time zone. And please, when you send me your availability, don't just say I'm available Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. That's just not how this works, unfortunately. I don't have a wide open schedule like that with the amount of people I deal. Send me a full list of your availability, like a 7-day availability. Now, I know some people have different schedules and that may change, but send me a broad aspect of your availability. Don't just send me, I'm available. I mean, people do that. I know, I mean, maybe it's not intentional, but people will go, I'm available Wednesdays at 3. I can't adjust an appointment to just one day that you're available. That's why I say that. It's impossible with everything that's going on. All right. So send me a full list of days and times you're available and your time zone. That speeds up the process. Okay, is what I'm saying. That gives me the availability to look at your schedule and then look at what I have available. And then I can just throw some dates right back at you ASAP. All right. It speeds up the booking process because when it's limited info, it's just back and forth. So now we're sending 3 and 4 emails that we don't really need to send. And it eliminates me. And with the amount of emails, sometimes you miss them. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's so many. Sometimes you just overlook it. It just happens, you know. But anyway, I want to throw that out there. Also, told you about the Thursday class. The Friday class moved to Thursday. You know about the Patreon. That's what you want to get in on this year to get access to these classes. Again, everything is going on that ticker on the bottom of the screen. The video that I'm going to post a little bit later. Let me get a bottle of water real quick. Hold up. All right. So the video that I'm going to post a little bit later will also go into some of what I'm going to run through right now. Again, for those that reached out to me, I know some of you completed your Luciferian self-initiation yesterday. I know some of you guys were preparing for it since last year because you didn't do it last year. You didn't feel like you were ready. Some of you have been preparing for the last few months. You got in on the Luciferian class a couple of months back. You completed the classes. And for those that did carry out that ritual and have now self-initiated themselves into the Luciferian current, I welcome you. For those that are still studying and looking into it, hopefully you guys continue that journey and take that step or that plunge, as they say. All right. So as I've been going in this time of the year, as I said, which is a time where we're supposed to do a lot of self-reflection, internal work. So it came to me. And again, I'm going to run through this real quick. I'll post a recorded video later tonight when I get some time. As we know, traditionally, there's 12 days of Christmas, right? When you go back on the liturgical calendar. Back in the day, and again, I'm not going to get into too much of this because I get into that in that video upload later. Technically, traditionally, how it used to be years back, you would set up your Christmas tree on Christmas Eve. You would put your lights up, your decorations. That would start really on Christmas Eve. This new, more modern concept, which I have no problem with it. I actually do it myself. People start a lot earlier. They start early in December, around Thanksgiving time. I start right at Thanksgiving time because I just love this shit, right? I just love everything about it. But traditionally, you used to set up on Christmas Eve. You'd put your tree up, your decorations, Christmas Day, and then after that would be the 12 days of Christmas, which runs into roughly the 6th of January, which leads up to what they have on the Roman Catholic liturgical calendar, the Feast of the Epiphany. So I came up with an idea, and that Feast of the Epiphany is the acknowledgement who they call Christ the King, right? So we got to place ourselves in that. So I came up with an idea of us doing a 12-day working. And you kind of do this on your own and be as creative with it as you decide you want to be, right? And on that 12th day, that culminates you coming into that, your own personal divinity, your own godhood, your own apotheosis, self-deification, self-mastery, right? And again, when you do the ritual, and when you see the video that I posted later, it's called the 12 Days of Christmas Ritual Working. What I want you to do is focus on, again, what you're trying to accomplish, reevaluate what maybe you felt short of in 2023, put your intent out there. If you have a specific relationship, a stronger connection with a certain spirit, demon, god, or goddess, if you want to choose to work with that particular one over a 12-day period. But I want you to do something in regards to that. I don't care if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's up to you. There is no right or wrong way to do it. I just want you to put that intent out there for 12 straight days, right? And you should start this tomorrow. Well, you could have started it today, but even if doesn't matter if it's a day or two off, if you hop in later, just join in, because the more of us that do it as a group, it'll put more powerful energy out there. Because as I said, this is a fucking amazing time of the year. If you understand, as I've been trying to tell you guys for the last, going back to November and in previous years, and I'll continue to do that moving forward. There's so much spiritual energy in the air connected with this, right? And I kind of want to just focus on this type of stuff in this video, with Christmas passing yesterday, and now we're into the 12 days of Christmas. It's not over. Keep this energy alive through those 12 days. Focus on putting your intent out there. And again, there is no right or wrong way to do it. You can get very creative with this. You can utilize this in your own way. You can use the mythology and the occult aspects of the holiday season, as I broke down to you guys before. The whole, mythology of Santa Claus is grafted from the character Saint Nicholas, which is actually a canonized saint in the Catholic Church. That's why they call him Old Saint Nick, who used to help less fortunate children. That's where the whole gift giving concept comes. Yes, you can connect it to other forms of the occult and paganism. Nimrod, the birthday of Nimrod. You can find a lot of these things in other cultures, the Celtic culture, Roman mythology, which, again, as I said before, it's right up our alley. I mean, religious folks, they don't get it. They'll have a problem with it. Say, oh, it's paganism, it's devil worship. Thank you. Appreciate you acknowledging that for me. Okay, because that's right up on our alley. We deal with the occult. I don't care when people come with that woke shit, that over woke shit. I get it. You understand? That's your perspective on it, right? But to say that to us is ridiculous, because that's right up our alley. And one thing I said, just like anything else, you got to learn to ritualize the mythology, whatever that mythology is you use. It's no different than using like the Sith philosophy, as we use that as a mythology. It's no different than using the Necronomicon. You have to learn to take a dogma, a pantheon, or a mythology, and you have to ritualize it. Well, the whole concept of Christmas and the holidays, right? We know it's not the birth, and the Christians they'll sit there and accuse other people of being pagans, but some of these fools actually go to church and believe this character Christ was born on the 25th of December. So they're guilty of what they're accusing other people of, because we know as a fact that's just not factually proven. Okay, we know December 25th is the shortest daylight hours on the calendar. We know it represents the shortest time of daylight. They chose that day because it's the darkest day of the winter solstice, as I've said before in the past. So what better way to say this Christ light figure comes into existence in the darkest day or time of the year? And any Catholic priest, any religious scholar will confirm that for you, right? So they're sitting there believing in something mythological, and then turning around and trying to point the fingers at others for doing something that they believe is the same shit that they're doing, right? But long story short, that's neither here and there. We don't really give a shit about that, because when you're on the path of self-mastery, you take things and you adjust and you manipulate that energy to work for you. See, rather than talk about the problem, reality is you live in the Western Hemisphere, as I said before. You live in the Western Hemisphere, you're going to be exposed to the holidays. It's not going away. You can sit there and say this, that, the other, talk about this, that. It's not going away. So what are you doing to change that energy? Is what I've been presenting for years. But anyway, outside of that, I want to focus on the negativity. It's been a great time of the year, as it is every year for me. I hope it has been for you guys. Again, I know everybody has a different take on the holidays and Christmas. Maybe you don't really celebrate it like that. Maybe you're not into it like that, and that's okay. But for those that are like myself, this is a great time of the year, man. It's not about all the commercial shit, as I've said before in the past. It's definitely not about the religious nonsense. Okay. It's more about family. It's more about connecting to that vibrational frequency that you can tap into and utilize the energy from that vibrational frequency. I mean, it's hard for me to put it in words, but there's a lot of power in this time of the year if you know how to ritualize it, right? Um, the energy again, I mean, just as it culminates, as I said, our season of year as occult practitioners, the reason why I have the conference right around Halloween, that last week in October, or All Hallows Eve, or some say the Devil's Sabbath, right? That really is the wind down of our year as we head into darkness, right? That's why I do it. That's why I picked that time of the year for a particular reason. That really culminates the season from Halloween to New Year's, right? And then obviously it leads into Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, right? So all of this has a connectedness. We're on a different cycle. We're on a different time frame. Yes, we might use in our everyday lives the Gregorian calendar to just calculate our everyday tasks, work, and things we need to do. But spiritually, we're not on the Gregorian calendar, right? I keep trying to tell you guys, everything is one continuous moment, right? The faster you understand that, the more you're able to tap into the hidden meaning of that, the quicker you're going to see you accelerate on this path. There is no past, present, or future. It's only the now. The past is now, the present is now, and the future is now. Okay. Now I know we've been programmed to think the future is something way ahead, and then we calculate physical aging, this, that, and the other. We say there's no way it can all be one continuous moment, because the way I look now is not how I looked, what I'm saying, 20, 25 years ago. I wasn't this size, I wasn't this big, I wasn't this old, right? See, again, you're caught up in your mortality, and you're caught up in the physicality of what they call linear time. So you're basing it on an illusion, right? Now, if you understand the occult mythological magic of Christmas, like I said before, also like music, when you listen to music, say back during a period of time in your life that was very happy and productive, it creates a lot of regeneration of cells, healing. It keeps you mentally sharp. It keeps you feeling young and vibrant, right? And that's the power and the healing aspect of music, because of the vibrational frequency and sound that it contains. So when you hear a certain song, certain words, certain harmony, it activates within your psyche a certain aspects of yourself that connects to it. So music can bring back all types of memories, moments, and thoughts, right? You can attribute certain songs to certain periods of your life, whether it's love songs, whether it's upbeat tempo songs, whether it's hip hop, whatever it is. You can tap into the power of your mind in depth and detail and see yourself in the moment. Sometimes the visualization is so powerful, you can take yourself back. Maybe you was at a particular house party. Maybe you was at a particular event. You can, as I said before, when you're listening to a song, you can see the exact day, time, period, who you were with, what kind of clothing you had on. Okay. Uh, it's great. It's the same thing you can do with what they call the concept of Christmas, right? You could take any of these holidays, right? For an example, if you have productive memories or positive memories, right? This is why it activates a certain energy in certain people. Now, I know some people might have a negative connection to it because maybe something traumatic or something happened at that time. Hold on. I got stupid ass people in here. Maybe this time of the year, and this happens, something traumatic might have happened, and it brings back bad memories. That could be the downfall, but that's not just applied, say, to the holidays or Christmas. That could be any specific time of the year, and that's part of your shadow work, right? That's part of working through things that create issues or blockages in certain aspects of your life, right? But the holidays can do the same thing like music can do. So say you have a great experience with this, which I do, right? I'm one of the fortunate ones, and those in my boat are fortunate too. It makes you feel like a kid, not where the fact where you act like an immature little kid, but it brings that that vibrational energy, right? I'm able to tap into the power. I could tap into that same energy today, being a grown ass man that I felt as a young kid during Christmas. That same feeling, literally. And this is what I mean when I say the present moment, everything is connected to the now. When I'm doing that, I'm validating that statement. See, you can't look at it and go, well, hold on, I'm this age, but at that time I was just, see, you're trapped again. See, that's what they did from the get-go by putting a beginning and an ending on things, a time frame, as they say. This term we use in modern day English, a time frame. So they're taking time, they're trying to frame it. And when they're framing it, they're trying to trap you, right? Because if your thoughts expanded outside of linear time, and their Gregorian calendar and their false concept of time, you would start thinking like a god or a goddess again. And they don't want you to do that. As I said, that's why they tried to snatch your imagination from you, right? They tried to snatch your imagination from you because when you imagine, imagination, image, all have root in the same word. When you are imagining things, you're creating images. You are creating like a god would do or a goddess would do. When you're conjuring up and creating imagery and you're stamping that in your subconscious mind, you're creating worlds, you're creating multiverses. They don't want you to do that. They want to stamp the image in your mind and concept in your mind of how they want you to see shit. They want to control all facets of that. And that's why I've been saying for years, there's been a war for the control. There's been interplanetary warfare for the control of your mind through indoctrination, through programming. In that end of the year class, I'm going to get into some stuff. I'm going to get into the reprogramming process, how to literally open your pineal, the messages that were sent to me, some about these electromagnetic current fields. I'm going to get into all that at the end of that class. You don't want to miss that class. And I'm not just saying that to promote it. You don't want to miss that class because we're entering a new phase, right? So you've got to learn to take what's in front of you, ritualize it, and master it. See, the problem with a lot of people doing these woke conscious movements, all they do is bitch and complain about the problem, right? They can take anything they see in the news. They'll take the holiday season. Oh, that's pagan. Oh, I don't do that. That's a European holiday. Oh, that deals with devil worship and witchcraft. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. But the reality is, you can sit there, bitch, moan, and complain. And some of you motherfuckers are closet Christmas practitioners. Be front and acting all righteous, knowing you celebrate Christmas and shit, but that's okay. But anyway, the beauty of what we do is, see, for those that are on a path like myself, see, we can celebrate, participate, judgment free, because we can't be judged according to your religious nonsense and bullshit and opinions. That's the beauty. See, the beauty is we can do what we do and not have to worry in our minds of having any form of guilt about it, because we make those choices and decisions for ourselves. And I ain't got no qualms about this or anything else. And I've told you guys from day one for years now, you know, I love Christmas. Ain't nobody going to take that shit away from me. Ain't nobody going to change my mind about it, because I know my approach and how I utilize this season. It's not what people think on the surface. But for somebody to sit there and bitch and whine and complain about a problem, but not come up with no solutions, that's not the answer either. Okay? So we've got to learn to think, quote unquote, outside the box, right? And that's why I said, when you tap into the energy of this time of year, for those that have positive memories of this, man, just think about how a lot of these old school Christmas carols bring back memories, you know, when you were a kid, right? And I like the old school shit. I listen to a little of the modern shit, but I like the old, you know, Bing Crosby, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole. You know, that's the type of shit I grew up on listening to as a kid. Because those particular, just like when you're listening to quote unquote other genres of music, those particular artists, when it comes to Christmas carols or Christmas songs, it has different energy and frequency. See, when I hear those songs, it takes me back and I feel energy wise like a small child. I have that energy, right? There's nothing like listening to those classic Christmas carols from those type of artists, right? Mahalia Jackson, right? Yes, even some of those, religious quote unquote songs like Silent Night, Holy Night. It's how you take it and ritualize it, right? I have a deeper connection to that outside of what's just in those words, right? Any of those old school artists. I'm not saying, yeah, there's some more modern day stuff. Like I like some of the R&B, like the Temptations Christmas album, artists like Boys to Men, some of the soulful Christmas music that has its own energy and vibe too. Same thing, right? But it's a different energy, it's a different vibe. And as you're listening to it, your connectedness to that it's a different energy and a frequency that you're able to tap into, right? That's the beauty of it. So you could I'm trying to show you how you could utilize this time of the year, no different that you can say using the concept of different genres of music. Now you could do the same thing with the 4th of July. Maybe you got a history with the 4th of July holiday, maybe key moments in your life. As I said, I like the 4th of July because it reminds me of block parties. It reminds me big wheel races, father-son baseball games. Because, back in the day in New York, we used to close off the whole block, get a permit. They used to put barricades on both sides of the block. And we had the whole block all day because we had a permit for it. Fireworks, barbecuing, adults drinking beer, we sneaking beer too, but I have a good vivid history of that. Like a lot of holidays can do this, not just Christmas, but Christmas it's a bigger holiday. It's a more vibrant energy, right? I have like I ain't gonna get into all the, like I said, the politics with it. We know that, right? But it's how you take it and ritualize it. And I'm putting this out there. Don't look. It's not just with Christmas. If it's Christmas or anything else, if this something you like to indulge in, okay. Oh, I see. I'm gonna get to the chat in a minute. Um, like I say, if there's something you enjoy doing, you indulge it. The beauty of being on this path, you don't need to feel guilty about it. Not just Christmas, if it's anything else. But see, that's the beauty. We can celebrate. If you like Christmas, celebrate it. Be proud of that shit. That's all I'm saying, or anything else, right? And it doesn't change the path that you're on, right? Because it could be a difference of opinion. Because you got some religious ass occultists too. Because I've seen some religious ass occultists like, oh, we don't celebrate Christmas? Says who? Who the fuck says that? Who's the definitive determining factor that says you do or you don't, right? Mainstream, okay? Yeah, I mean, it's all bullshit. So, like I say, take this time of the year, enjoy this time of the season. We got a few more days left to New Year's. Again, it's about family, it's about friends, it's about getting together, it's about good food, good vibes, and more importantly, the most thing I love to see more than anything is when I look at my little guy and other children. It's about them, man. Let them get their presents, right? It's about them. The gift giving, I'm okay with it if it's for the children. As I said in past years, yeah, we do a little something for the adults, but it ain't about us, man. It's not about us. Take care of the children. We don't need shit. I couldn't care if I got zilch for Christmas. It wouldn't even matter to me. As long as the kids got something, man. Let the kids enjoy it, right? Give them, the more productive you can make their childhood and their vibes and their energy and their experience and their upbringing more positive, the better they're going to turn out to be. I'm not saying spoil them like little brats. And I'm a little guilty of spoiling my son, but he's a humble kid, right? I'm saying make it a special time of the year and explain to them like I've explained to my son a few years back. Now he just turned 10. He knows factually anymore there's no actual Santa Claus. He's 100% aware of that. But what I teach him is the spirit and the energy and what Santa Claus represents is real, right? And that's looking out for one another, right? Checking on one another, taking care of the less fortunate. And this is, people don't think we have these type of perspectives on the occult and the left-hand path. We do, right? We're not ruthless, reckless beings. Don't get me wrong. You fuck with us, we'll turn on the fire. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying we have that natural instinct as caretakers within us too, right? By nature, men, we are fathers if we have children, right? We have father energy. You're supposed to. Women naturally by nature are protectors, right? They're nurturers, right? That's just a natural instinct that's in us, right? That don't need to be taught to us, right? But this is about children, right? Now, I was fortunate, even though we didn't grow up, we grew up pretty poor, but my parents did a great job of disguising it. We had a Christmas every year. We had presents every year. And again, as I said in the past, I found out shit later what they had to go through to do that. But see, I respect that because that tells me I got 3 sisters. So my parents raised 4 kids, and we're all about a year to 2 years apart. So we were all close in age. So you can imagine how chaotic that is, raising 4 kids pretty much the same age, a year and a half, 2 years apart. You know what I mean? But my point is the whole gift giving thing and all that stuff, that should be about the kids. I'm not saying adults can't exchange gifts, but me, like I said, I say that from all sincerity. I couldn't care if I got if I got 1, 2, 5 things or 0 things. It wouldn't even matter to me. I'm not into it for all of those things. I'm into the power and the energy, and I love watching the kid. Man, it's just an awesome fucking feeling seeing kids like engulfed in their Christmas energy and happy, right? And if they into it, let them enjoy it, right? But explain to them, educate them, and celebrate it the way you want it. But explain that shit to them, right? Don't let them see other kids doing it and they're not participating in it, or they don't understand it, or you're so righteous. Oh, we don't celebrate that shit. You know, you're so fucking woke and righteous. Explain to the ass, you know? Now, again, it's your choice. It's your call. You know, you're not obligated to or not to, right? But what I'm saying is, like this and anything else, take it, ritualize it, make it your own. Okay, and I love all aspects. Like I said, man, I'm already my crazy ass. We're already preparing for next year. Adding, I found something for the garage. I'm about to add 2 more white trees. I'm gonna have 4 Christmas trees in this bitch next year. I'll film it. You'll see it. But just being around the energy, like you know, I keep everything up to like right after New Year. Just being in the house, man. It's just this awesome fucking feeling. It feels like one big ass ritual, right? If you're tapped into the energy on that level. Okay. All right. Let's go to, because I'm not going to stay on too long. Got some open questions. We can kind of make this an open session. I just kind of wanted to come on here and kind of go over again, for those that may be joining late, the 2023 end of the year 2024 prophecy class that's been moved up 1 day early. I had to change that due to the fact I should have looked at my season ticket hockey schedule. I didn't realize there was a game that night, and a very exciting game I don't want to miss. That's the real reason. So I had to push it up a day. I can't miss that. I got people, friends. So we're moving that up to Thursday, December 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, if you're on Patreon, you already have access to that class like all the other classes. If not, there's instructions on how to sign up for that class on Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram and on Primordial Chaos on Facebook, and right here in the community section here on YouTube. I'm going to be going in depth. Again, as you know, I don't give messages. I don't present messages or downloads from spirits in a spooky way, but I do have messages and information to share with you. But I always share with you in the perspective, you utilize it how you see fit. I don't tell people I got a download and you have to do this and that, because I think that's a little spooky. But I've been having my own, just like I'm sure many of you have, visions, messages, spirits, gods, goddesses, demons always come to me hardcore this time of the year. They do throughout the year, but they've shared some important stuff with me that I'm going to pass on to you in that class. And I needed to be in a setting where I could see everybody who's there. And I want you guys to interact like we do on Patreon. You know, I want to see people there. I want to see people's faces. Some of you motherfuckers don't turn your cameras on. I don't know if you're just looking tore up from the floor up. I don't know if you got warrants and you don't want to be seen. I don't know what it is. But when we're doing classes on the Patreon, man, come in, man, turn your camera on, participate. Right? But it's not, we literally, we're supposed to be family on that spiritual level. That's why I'm saying that. Turn the camera on. Unless your shit is tore up in the back or something. Maybe you got a justifiable reason. I know some of you guys might be at work, this, that, or the other. But if you're in a situation where you can turn your camera on and participate, man. Now, look, don't turn your camera on. Look, like I said before, some people don't know social media etiquette. I don't need to see you in your fucking bathrobe cooking eggs and shit on the stove and shit like that. Nah, keep the motherfucking camera off. We don't need to see all that shit. All right? Or if you would do, I don't need to see you laying on your bed sideways with your 3 chest hairs. You know, I don't want to see that shit. Okay, but if you in a situation, turn your camera on, participate, engage. Right? That's what fellowship is about. Right? And we do need to fellowship on the left-hand path in the occult. Just like anything else. That's how we dialogue. That's how we get connected. That's how we keep the energy and the frequency going on a connected level, right? But some people sometimes come into the Patreon classes and we in a private setting on Zoom. It's only for those that are on Patreon or those that have the link. Man, let's engage. That's something I want to change in 2024 because we get a lot of people that come to the class. I'm not saying all you. Some of you guys are in there. There's several of you that have your cameras on all the time. I'm not talking about you guys, right? So if it doesn't apply to you, that don't apply to you. But some of you guys have been coming to them classes for damn near well over a year or more. And some of you guys don't turn your cameras on. You know, again, maybe you got reasons. I don't know. I'm not forcing you to. Maybe look, if you look tore up from the floor up, I don't want to see that shit either. Maybe you guys, maybe you can't. I don't know. But so I'll be going over stuff like that. You know, we got a lot of good stuff planned for 2024. This thing just keeps growing. You know, definitely we got the conference, 7th year of the conference we'll be doing next year. Looking forward to that. And hopefully we get to see some newer faces come out again in 2024. This past year, as I told you guys, was good. Man, the cemetery working was awesome. And it went, you know, we didn't know how it was going to go because the beauty of the cemetery working this past year was nothing. Like I said, I don't plan shit. And everybody that participated in the ritual added something to it. And the beauty of it, it was all on the spur of the moment. And when you do a ritual like that on the fly, and most of my rituals, and if you've been on Patreon with me the last few years and you do the monthly group rituals, as I said before, I make that shit up all in the moment, right? I might have an outline. I might have an idea. There might be something specific. I might have saw in a book. Maybe there's an invocation and I'll take that and build upon it. But for the long haul, one thing I learned going back well over 2 years now, two and a half, 3 years, the spirits told me to stop doing that. Just they'll tell me in the moment what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. And I roll with it. So literally leading up to the day of ritual, I just have an outline and an idea of what I'm going to do. I don't even know what I'm going to do. And as soon as we open the ritual and get into the ritual, whatever demon, spirit, god, or goddess we're working with, that entity presents itself and guides us through the ritual. That's the power of what we do. Right? Now, I'm not saying that methodology is going to work for everybody. Okay. I'm not saying that that's going to work for everybody. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with writing things down, planning it, and prepping it. That's not, look, I want to make that clear. Right? You find the methodology that works for you. Now, a while back, I used to do that to a degree. I did. I used to try to prepare, write things out. But for some reason, I found myself veering off even after I would write it, because I'm not a structured person like that. That doesn't work for me. Now, some people who are like that, that's fine. They get great results. It works for them. They got to be very organized and decent. Now, I'm a very organized person, but my shit is all up in here now, right? Even there's certain things I might write down in my magical diary. I don't really even use that. And I encourage people that need it to use it. But this is my magical diary right now. I access everything here. And the spirits made that clear to me a while back. You don't need to do any of that stuff no more. Right? We've opened this up. They've planted the seed in there. They all live and reside in there. And I can access them when I need to access them now. Could I do that a few years back? Not on that level, no. But now I can. The message was, you don't need to write the rituals out like that no more. Just think of what it is you want to do and we'll manifest. It's like that movie. What's that movie? If you build it, they will come. That was that Field of Dreams, I think it was, right? Yeah, I mean, use methodologies that work for you. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's go in the chat. If you guys got some questions, some comments, relevant comments, let's see what we got in here. We'll start at the top. I'll stay on for a little bit more, maybe about another 45 minutes max. Yeah, I got some stuff I want to do. All right, Yesi Alfaro, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Goddess Isis says, peace, Brother Manini, peace. Mika says, greetings. Duma Ken. Yeah, let me shout out Brother Duma Ken. I know I haven't done it in a while. I try to do it when he's in the room. The brother you see, Duma Ken Rez, inbox him. He does make occult jewelry. He's done a few pieces for me. I try to recognize and shout out people I know that have a talent or a gift or offer something that's relevant to what we do. I know some of you know that. Some of you who don't know that, you see him in the chat there. You might want to inbox him if you're interested in any type of occult jewelry piece. I'm sure he can direct you to what he offers. So reach out to the brother if you're interested in a piece. All right. Alex says hello. God is the same to you. Damn. Okay. Hold on. Let's scroll down here. Anya says, hey, I love your freaking channel. So I appreciate that, Anya. Thank you. Appreciate that. Kadane, I did get your email. I just saw it. Actually, I know you sent it a couple of days ago. I will respond back to that. Saw it right before I came on. It's what I was saying in the beginning. Sometimes with messages and email, you got to remember, I'm keeping up with a Patreon inbox. I'm keeping up with 2 different email accounts on a regular basis. And it gets a little hectic, especially when I go through periods where it's super busy, like now. So again, if I don't get back to you ASAP, it's nothing personal. It's just there's so much going on between the holidays and I just love this fucking time of year. And I'm not saying that complaining, because I love all this energy. I love all this shit. I feed and thrive off all this shit. But again, sometimes I may not see it. And I always try when I get downtime to start and go back days and try to scroll through everything, because then I sometimes catch shit I missed. Okay. The Hunter says, yes, it's 12 Christmas time. Yes, when I was talking about the 12 days of Christmas, right? We all know that song on the first day of Christmas, right? We all know that song, right? That's what that song is about, right? Again, if you came on late, traditionally Christmas, how it was celebrated, right? After it was built off of the mythology of how they came up with Santa Claus, and then how Christmas developed here in the West, right? But the tradition, when you go back to old school traditions here in this country, right, you will find that people started putting their Christmas tree up and decorations and decorated their house inside and out on Christmas Eve, right? That's how it was traditionally done, right? And then they would celebrate all the way to about the 6th of January up to the Epiphany, which was the 12 days of Christmas. So you keep your decorations, your Christmas tree up and everything up until that time for 12 days. I know more in modern times it's changed, right? It starts a little earlier. I ain't gonna lie, I start earlier. So look, you want to do it old school traditional? I just can't wait to do it that long. I make the whole month, literally my Christmas season. It's like Thanksgiving kicks the door down. I celebrate it all the way from, excuse me, right after the Feast of Thanksgiving, all the way up until a few days after New Year's. So, but I'm just saying, traditionally, that's how it was done. You didn't put your decorations and your Christmas tree up and all that to the day before Christmas. That's old school. Now, I had a neighbor in New York. I'll never forget my neighbor in New York that lived on the right of me. They were old school, right? And they did that every year. He literally was old school. He was old school Catholic, right? That's an old school Roman Catholic practice tradition. And yeah, he'd keep that shit up all the way to the middle of January, right? And he observed the 12 days of Christmas. And again, I'm gonna put that video up. I talked about it in the beginning, but the video, I want you guys to participate in that 12 days of Christmas ritual work, especially for those of you guys that did the Luciferian self-initiation. That's going to be even more beneficial for you after doing that ritual and then partaking in this 12 days work. And it's going to be a great thing. All right. So let's see what else we got. Cinnamon and Say says, what are your thoughts, if any, about the last date of the year? Let's see what it adds up to. 3, 6, 7, 9, 12. 1 and 2 is 3. It just depends on what perspective you're talking about, right? You see the alignments 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? And then when you add the numbers up, you get 3, right? So again, when we add them up, 1, 2 is 3, 6, 7, 9, 12. And then always in numerology, you take the 2 individual numbers and add them together. 1 and 2 is 3. And it's funny you bring that up. I'm going to go into depth on that again in the end of the year class, because numbers, numerology, dates, there is some significance to it, right? Now, we also know 1, 2s, and 3s. And here's my thoughts. I'm going to give you a little bit kind of what I'm going to talk about it. Remember, everything is taught to us in 3s, person, place, and thing, which taps into 3-dimensional vibrational frequency. Really, what that's showing on a deeper occult level, we're getting ready to exit 3-dimensional existence. And I'm going to talk about that with what we need to do to decalcify the pineal gland. It's all in alignment. Part of it's connected of what you put in there, but we're going to be breaking that illusionary system of indoctrination, how they teach everything to us in threes: person, place, and things. God, devil, man, angels, prophet, Bible, ABCs, 1, 2, 3, right? All of it falls in alignment with person, place, and thing. That's the binary code that's going to break that. The threes, okay? And I'm going to talk a little bit about that more in that class. There's a lot of significance. There's others that other people might have different perspectives on that and breakdowns. I know there's going to be a bunch on it. But yes, there is communication from the spirit world in some of these numbers, right? But it's not a coincidence. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and when you add it up, it's 3. Okay, add them all up, it's 3. When you add the entire data up, it's 12. But it's 1 and 2, it's 3, right? We know 3 in the multiples of 3. 3 times 3 is 9. That's why I'm telling you, it's breaking the construct of person, place, or thing, or three-dimensional, because there's no number higher than 9, because after 9, it goes back to 0, right? Because when you look at the 0, when you go to the right of the 0, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When you go to the left of 0, it's 0, 1. We all learn this. See, they're taking away the old school math. Remember the charts where they had the 0 in the beginning? And they went to the right, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. When they went to the left, they went -1, -2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They were trying to show you there's really no number after 9, because then when you get to 9, the 9 flips over to the 1, then the right turns to 0. And the same process repeats itself. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8, 9. Then they flip the left number to the next number, which is 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. What that's trying to show you, it confirms when I'm talking about cyclical time. We deal with cycles, right? 9 is the number of the black flame of consciousness that's attributed to Set. And really, this is Set's year, and I'm going to talk about that. And this is why I always equate July. I'll get more into that. But yes, there's deep significance to this. And as I'm talking right now, there's 30 people in the room. 3, 0. That's not a coincidence. I know it's going to change because the number changes, but you get my point. The spirit has changed to 4. But yes, there's definitely significance in that. It goes deep. You can tie it into the adversary. You can tie it into astrologicals, the movement of the planets. You can tie it into binary codes. You can tie it into numerology, right? And it goes even deeper than that, right? But it's not a coincidence. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The other significance to that is, remember, there is what I've said a million times before. There's obtaining spiritual knowledge on this side of your existence, your physical existence, and then there's obtaining a certain level or degrees of knowledge, quote unquote, on the other side, or your spirit in the spirit world or the spirit realm, right? And there's significance with those numbers with that. And I'll get into that. But yes, there is significance in that. It's good that you saw that and pointed that out. All right. Shout out to Ultra Instinct. Yeah, we had people, man, people get on the internet and do stupid shit. There was somebody in here called Horny Eyes trying to sell some pussy. I don't know if you guys saw it. but I had to remove them from the room. I mean, you just get some nutheads, man. They just got nothing better to do. I don't know what it is. I thought it was kind of funny, but we don't need that distraction. All right. What else we got? Will Knight, what's going on, brother? Yeah, been a while, man. Yeah, happy holidays to you, and thank you for wishing, seeing that I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well. Hope your friends and family, and hope all you here. Hope everybody, friends, family, everybody here is doing well. Hope everybody that is enjoying this Christmas and holiday season. Hope you guys are enjoying it. We still got another week, man. Relish in it, man. Because again, the downside to me is it comes so quick. And in my opinion, it goes too fucking quick, man. I kind of get a little bit down when it's over, man. I ain't gonna lie, a little bit. Then I gotta get back to reality, man. But man, I wish it would go slower. It seems like as I get older, it goes faster. Remember when you were a kid, it seemed like it took forever to come, right? It seemed like I don't know, man. It's weird. I know they say when you get older, time seems to go quicker, and that's true. I'm starting to see that. It does. I just remember, man, when I was, I'm sure all of you can relate. I just remember when I was a kid. Remember when school was over? Summertime felt forever. It felt like an eternity. I remember the fucking hardest day was that first day back. After it just felt like the summers were eternity because you had so much fucking fun. And I remember my summers as a kid was roller skating, riding my bike, playing wiffle ball in the driveway, stick ball down at the schoolyard, running in the streets, playing run, catch, and kiss with the girls, ring-a-levio, hide and seek. You know, this is shit we did, man, as young kids, elementary, middle school. We played. There was a thing called playing back in the day, right? I know some of you newer generation motherfuckers don't know what that is, but we used to be told shit like, go outside and play, right? What is that today? Think about it. You don't really see kids outside on the street like you used to back in the day. I'm not saying there's no kids out there. A lot of it depends on the neighborhood you live. For an example, my neighborhood, it's a pretty fairly young neighborhood, so I do see it's a good mixture. There's a good mixture of younger folks here too, younger families. So you do see kids out on their bike, riding their bike, playing in the street. That's what we did. We played football on the street, right? I can remember as a kid, especially in the wintertime. Oh, and if it snowed, we were down at the schoolyard on the grass playing tackle football. Man, we just call your friends up where you didn't have no cell phone. Or you get on the rotary phone if you're lucky to have one. Remember the rotary phone? And forbid somebody was on the line, right? There's no, remember before call waiting, the shit would actually be busy. And damn, you had to hang up. You had to keep calling until that line was free, right? But that's what we did as kids, man. And we had it was fun. I remember this time of the year reminds me of all that, playing football in the snow. Shit, man, just riding the buses and the train, going to all the stores, Christmas shopping, going down to Jamaica Avenue, going down to Shoppers Village in Hempstead, you know, just doing all these different things that we used to do, man. And it was sometimes it's the experience that is the magic. See, now with all this technology, we didn't have online. It wasn't online shopping in them days. Now, yeah, it's great. You can get online, does save you the headache and the access. And I'm an Amazon junkie. I'm on Amazon buying shit all the time. But I think it was the experience, the whole journey, the trip, either getting in the car, getting on the bus, getting on the train, getting dressed up, putting on your winter gear, going out and about. I mean, I think that was the magic is what I'm trying to say. And I remember them days and I reflect back on it. That's the downside of all this technology because it strips us of a lot of experiences, right? And you might say, man, I don't want that experience anymore. That was a pain in the ass. It was cold. It was this, that. I get it. I remember this time of the year as a young kid, all the Rocky movies came out during the holidays, except for Rocky 3. Rocky 3 was the only one in that trilogy that came out in the summertime. Rocky 3 came out in 1982, the same month that E.T. the Extraterrestrial came out. And I'll never forget that shit. But every year, all the Rocky movies outside of that one came out between Thanksgiving and Christmas time. And I remember I used to get on the bus all the time. I remember as a 10-year-old kid. Now, yeah, that's how it was like that back in the day. See, back in the day, you could be 10 years old. We used to roam the whole neighborhood. We didn't have to worry about all this sick, crazy shit today. Literally, I think about the shit our parents allowed us to do. You can't allow these kids to do it today. I mean, we were young kids. We could roam the whole neighborhood for hours, be gone all day. And nobody was worried that anything would happen. We used to ride our bike everywhere. We used to walk everywhere. We used to just roam all over the fucking place. That's how we grew up. Now, you can't, man, I'm guilty of it too. I don't feel safe. I would never let my kids do what I did growing up. I get it's a different time. Don't get me wrong. It's a different time. You got crazy motherfuckers out here. They kidnap, pedophiles, perverts, child molesters, child abductors. I'm not saying that shit didn't exist back then. It did. Right? But it was a different time. Like my neighborhood, everybody looked out for each other. There's nothing nobody knew that didn't go on. We knew. And when shit did go down and maybe wasn't the most positive, we handled it ourselves. That's how we did things back in the day. But I can't even phantom letting my kids do, my young one do what I did as a kid. I'm talking about we were 10 years old, roam the whole neighborhood like it was nothing. Be gone for hours. Parents weren't worried or concerned that something was wrong, something would happen to you. It was a different time, man. Different time period. I don't even know what brought that up, but anyway, something. We were talking about something. But you know me, I sometimes veer off. All right, Anya says, yes, absolutely adapt to wherever you are. That's it. That's the key. Adapt, right? Take whatever it is. This is what I mean when I say ritualize the mythology. Take any concept, situation, and change it to better suit what you're trying to accomplish. I don't care what it is. That's what makes you a magician, an occult practitioner, a god or a goddess. Any of those terms of self-mastery. You take the situation and change it into what you need so it's beneficial for you. If you a motherfucker that just sits around and complains about shit all day, then that's on you, right? Ain't nobody want to hear all that whining, crying, and complaining shit. That's on you. So you need to make that adjustment. You need to adapt and make that change. And that's why I was saying what I was saying earlier about the holidays, right? Got all these woke folks and all these so-called conscious groups and movements and religions and all they do is say the same rhetoric day in and day out, year in and year out. Yeah, man, you know the holidays, Santa Claus, that's evil. You see, brother, if you take Santa, you reverse it to it, you get Satan. Oh, that's so fucking deep. Man, my God, you're so smart and intelligent. Thank you. Right? That's right about because they don't even know what the word Satan means. They so spooked the fuck out. They think Satan is some fucking creature with horns on the hot sauce bottle with a pitchfork that tortures you in some mythological place that they created in a religion called hell. Because they don't understand what Hades or hell really is. They don't understand the clip-off. They don't understand the void and the abyss. They don't understand this all deals with the deep recesses of your subconscious mind. That's what the void and the abyss is. When you go into that aspect of yourself, you're tapping into parts of yourself that you've either shut down, been indoctrinated and programmed and ignored, or you don't even understand the power that resides there. We intentionally activate that because one must start there. They don't want you to start there. Okay? So their false concepts and ideology keeps them in a state of ignorance, right? So you hear the same rhetoric year in, year out, day in, day out, month in, month out, etc. The question is, what the fuck are you doing about it? Other than just talking about it. It's not just about talking about it. That's great. You could read something, learn something, present it, discuss it, talk about it, and then what? What's the solution after that? Okay? And it's not just with, again, Christmas and the holidays. Take anything else. If there's some shit you don't, excuse me, if there's some shit you don't like, then change it. That's all. Sitting around with your woke bullshit, that's not going to change anything. That's all. All right, what else we got? Mika says, yes, old school Christmas music is golden. It sure is, man. Man, it sure is. Man, like I said earlier, man, give me some Bing Crosby, Earl, what's his name? Earl Bives. I can't think of his name. Holly Jolly Christmas. I love that song. He's got a couple. Earl Bives, I think his name is. I can never get his last name. But man, Nat King Cole, golden voice. I could listen to Nat King Cole Christmas album all night. I love Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra. It's that old like mafia gangster Christmas shit I grew up on. But it's got a vibe to it, man. It's different. You know, yeah, I mean, some of like, and again, I love a lot of the R&B soul Christmas albums. I mentioned Temptation Christmas album's a classic. The Christmas song by the Temptations, that's a classic. My God, that brings me back childhood energy. Yeah, all that shit, man. I could listen to that shit. I mean, I get them crazy around here. But one thing I notice is my little guy's really starting to get into it now. He's now, I find him turning it on this time of the year comes. He knows the songs, you know, and he's doing it on his own. I don't force it on him, but I mean, he's around it. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, man, it's great, man. Like I say, how you tap in is the key. That's the key. So somebody might be hearing this and go, man, fuck that. I don't like any of that shit, man. Fuck Christmas. Fuck Santa Claus. Fuck. That's because you're not tapped in like that. And that's okay. But it's just like that same person that might despise, don't like Christmas or nothing to do with it, they might be connected to something else. And the same people that might like Christmas, this, that, or they may not be connected to that current or frequency or concept. And guess what? That's all right too. But one way or the other, you know, when this time of the year comes, Baniti's going to be on it like a hornet. Okay. And I love it, man. I know I keep saying it. You guys probably tired and sick and tired of hearing me saying this shit. I love it. It's a different vibe. And I described in the video that I recorded earlier, which I'll upload later when I get off of here. The best way I can describe it without sounding cornball or you know, like a fluffinator, it's a love frequency, man. And it's not the love frequency that you would think on the surface. It's just a vibe, energy, a feeling, right? Like when I was just, for an example, to give you, watching little kids is nothing like watching the smiles on the kids' faces with this shit. That's what I mean when I describe love. That's love. To see innocent children happy. And one of the things that bothers me more than anything is to watch kids suffering on any level. I ain't gonna lie to you. I see those St. Jude Hospital commercials. It breaks me down, man. I see them commercials of young kids starving in Africa and in a lot of these poor countries that don't have the resources. I'm on a website that I donate to. I would encourage you guys to check it out. And I've been donating to them for 2 years. I make a monthly donation to them. And I don't put things out there because I think if you're donating, helping, you just do it, right? You don't need to be recognized and seen. But there's a company and a charity called Charity Water, and you can donate through them through PayPal. So they take out my monthly donation on PayPal, and they're doing phenomenal things. They provide fresh working water in a lot of these countries in Africa, the Middle East, other third world countries, parts of the Caribbean. And to me, that's a good cause because to me, it's one of the most important things anyone needs to survive in life is clean, safe, fresh water. And there's projects. Check it out. It's legit. You can actually volunteer and go to places with them and actually, which I'm thinking about doing in the summertime, help. And they show you all the water things that they're building, the well systems, the water systems, and how they're bringing, clean, safe, fresh water to these countries, which that's important to drink, to bathe, to clean yourself, hygiene, right? So I'm big on stuff like that, especially when they're providing this clean, fresh water, especially for kids, man, because you got contaminated water, disease, famine, all types of illnesses set in, man. You can't clean your food, you can't clean yourself properly. All types of diseases set in. So I'm big on what is it, water charity? I think it's called. Yeah, just Google them, man. Let me find it, man. I'm gonna put it in the link. Uh, you guys definitely should check them out. I'm gonna pull them up. I'm gonna put the link in. And if it's something if you do donate to charities, this is one I would definitely. I think it's Charity Water. That's what it's called. I always say it backwards. Hold on, let me pull them up. I've been meaning to put that out for a while. Uh, to me, that's something that's it's just something I support wholeheartedly, 100%. All right, here it is. Here, let me pull it up real quick. All right, hold on. Charity Water, I think it's called. Let me get the correct name. There we go. Hold on. Get the name, and I have it set up through my Charity Water. Hold on. Pull up the full name. Hold on. Get that link. Yeah, it's Charity Water right here. Charitywater.org. Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in right now for those that might be. You can donate whatever you want a month. I think the minimum is $10. But hold on. Copy the link here. Actually, I'll just type it in charitywater.org. I'm gonna put it in for those that again, and just look at on the website all the good work they do. And if you want to get involved, all right, I just put it into the chat. Check them out. But I've been doing it for a couple years with them. And my goal, hopefully in the summer, I can get to one of the locations and actually help out in what they're doing over there. Also, I try to, when I can, help out with St. Jude Hospital. I'm a big supporter of that, what they do with the kids. That's huge, tremendous, man. It's tough for me though. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes it's tough seeing that going there. It just it's rough. I'm not gonna lie. And to me, and most of us, a lot of us here are parents. I can't even fathom. And I'm fortunate I've never had to go through a situation like that. And hopefully, uh, I can't even fathom what it would be like to have a young child like that, watch them with a terminal illness. It's tough. It's life. Don't get me wrong. It's just, unfortunately, it happens. It's fucked up. But man, and to see what those parents go through, and some of them are strong, and some of them, man, I gotta give them credit because I don't know how that would affect me. It hits home. A lot of us got kids, man, so we know. Maybe you don't fully understand. I'm not saying you can't relate if you don't have kids, but it's a different feeling. But to when you see a 3, 4-year-old, 5-year-old kid with terminal cancer, I mean that's some tough shit to watch. We got to be strong, right? Because it's the world we live in. It's life. It exists. It's real. But in my opinion, no kid deserves, no fucking kid deserves to go through some shit like that. And we sometimes don't look at it like that, but when I see it, man, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie, it's tough on me. I gotta take breaks from them for a moment. And it's not just the fact, yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot of kids. I got 2 boys. One of them's grown ass man. The other one, my little guy. I just can't fathom it, man. And man, my heart and my respect, man, goes out to parents that are dealing with that. You're taking care of a disabled child, a terminally ill child. That's not an easy thing, man. And that's why I was saying in that one video a couple of days back, check on folks, man. Right? Let me remind you of that now. Even though I did that video about a week or so ago, check on folks, man. This also is a tough time of the year for people. Brings back good memories and bad memories. Sometimes people are dealing with some tough stuff, and maybe it didn't happen on Christmas, but Christmas, family, friends, it brings back. You don't know, people dealing with situations like that, taking care of terminally ill people, young and old. You don't know. It's a stressful time for them, right? Just check on folks, man. Right? Hey, how you doing, man? Everything okay? But mean it. Don't just do it. Hey, sometimes people just ain't got an outlet to talk. Now, I get it. Sometimes people don't like to talk. They're very introverted. I get it. That could be tough, but talk to folks, man. See how they're doing. Checking on them, man. Especially this time of year. That's what this time of the year is about. It's about looking. I mean, it should be all year round we do that, but especially this time of the year, it's about looking out for folks, man. Checking on them. See how they doing, man. Hey, how you doing, man? How's your family? You doing all right? How's your health? Right? We don't do that shit. That's the neighborhood. That's the way I grew up. That's how we dealt with people, man. You see people in the store. Hey, man, how you doing, man? Hey, how you been? How's your brother? How's your sister, man? You don't do shit like that no more, man. Everybody's so fucking, it's about self now. Everybody's so into their fucking cell phone and nobody dialogues. It's sad that vibe has changed over the years. Man, I just remember like you be in line at the store. You just talk about life, football, sports. Now people they're just nasty. I'm not saying everybody. You run. I go to some places here, like where I'm at here in South Florida. There's a lot of people that moved to here. Everybody in South Florida is from somewhere else. You don't get into real natives of Florida until you get to Central Florida on up. I mean, pretty much South Florida now. We call it the 6th borough, right? Because pretty much everybody here is from New York or somewhere in the Northeast. So that's the one good thing about being here. You're still around a lot of that. But people have lost that neighborly, just everyday common sense shit, respect shit. I remember we used to see literally, if you walking down the street, you saw an old lady carrying, one of your neighbors carrying the groceries, and you better go over there and help them take them groceries in the house, and let your mother see you or your father see you walk by. You don't do nothing. If we knew an elderly person on our block when it snowed, we'd shovel their property for them because we knew they were too old to shovel their, couldn't do it. Right? All that shit is gone. People don't give a fuck no more, man. People only care about themselves, but that's what we did back in the day. We used to cut grass. I used to have an elderly lady lived on the corner. She couldn't cut her grass no more. We used to cut her grass for her. Right? Shit like that. Nobody does shit like that at all. I'm not saying at all, but on a wide scale level. Right? We need to bring that shit back, man. See, Christmas reminds me of all that shit. Right? And I'm talking, but that's common sense shit, not some old spooky kumbaya, hold hands, I love you, you love me, Barney shit. I'm talking about real actions and deeds, right? Actions and deeds, right? That's stuff we can change right on the spot. That's stuff that can be easily fixed, but it's a certain mentality, right? That's why it's not. That's why it doesn't change. All right, what else we got? Yeah, so like I'm saying, yeah, so it started with all those old songs. Remind you of that. Will says, I love the Converse shoes and pictures on the Instagram. Merry Christmas, brother. Yeah, man. I saw them joints. Like I said, we do it every year. I should have took pictures. We got Christmas pajamas too, man. We put on, I told you, man, we straight cornballs with it. But every year we go to my sister's house. I got to post some of my sister's stuff. Took some short video in there and then put that up. But yeah, we put on the socks, the hats, and yeah, we go all out, man. So we make it like a whole. The little guy had his on, my wife, me, my sister. We just every year, and we vibe with it, man. It's fucking awesome. So yeah, I had on the red ones, and then I did the Christmas socks. I wear the Christmas ones up to the knee, and then I had on with a little pom-pom hat. And Christmas Day morning, we do the pajamas, the hot cocoa. We did that yesterday morning. So every year, we had our own cups, Santa Claus cups, Frosty cups. It's just fucking. It's like one big ass ritual. It's the best way I could describe it. To me, it's like a whole. It's like a whole month-long ritual plus, right? And that's what it is essentially. When you really look at it from an occult perspective, it's basically a big ass ritual. And that's why I want to take these 12 days of Christmas, and I want you guys to literally ritualize them. Keep that energy going, because right, we're in the meat now. We're approaching the heart of the winter solstice, that season of real inner darkness and stasis, right? It's a real deep time this year, and everything that's attributed with it is about that. It's about inner reflection, self-mastery, personal spiritual growth, all of those things. That's the true meaning of Christmas. I don't care about your woke breakdown of it. I don't care about it's Nimrod's birthday. I understand. I can find the Christmas tree in the Bible. I can find it in Jeremiah. I can break down to you the whole. Of course, the whole concept of Christmas is based on many different cultures, a multitude of cultures. You can go back to pagan. And remember, pagan is not what people think it is. People think when you say you're a pagan, it means you're a pagan is somebody that doesn't believe in God. Right? Religious people think that. That's not what it means. Pagan just means foreigner of the land. Go look up the word. That was attributed to people who they were in a land that wasn't their homeland. They were called pagans. That's all it means. Just go look the shit up. But religious people are so stupid. They think when you call somebody a pagan, they're a pagan because they don't believe in my God. That's something religious folks started. Get that shit out of your head. So yes, technically, when you say paganism, right, really doesn't have anything to do on the surface with what people promote it as. But yes, we know Christmas traditions, the mistletoe, Christmas wreaths, which represented growth, regeneration, renewal, cycles. There was many symbolisms to the Christmas wreath, the mistletoes. Yes, you can trace it back to many different cultures, as I said earlier, the Celtics, this, that, and the other. You could trace it back to other mythologies, right? You could trace it back to recent religions and cultures like Catholicism, and tracing it back to a literal person called Saint Nicholas, just like there's a literal canonized saint in the Catholic Church called Saint Valentine. And they did the same thing with Valentine's Day. They built it off They built the mythology and the concept of Valentine's Day off of Saint Valentine, who is a canonized church. Same thing. So I get it if you have an approach, a woke approach to the holidays. You want to get all, yeah, man, you know what, blah, 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 whatever. But also understand, have your historical origins correct. Okay. Now, I could take the whole Valentine's thing and ritualize that. I'll get into that another time. But what I'm trying to say is rather than it's here, so take it, make it work for you how you see fit. If that's your choice. If it's not, then keep your complaining ass to yourself. I don't care. I'm the wrong person to complain. I'll laugh at you. And I put that, one of my friends on my personal Facebook, it's funny, he puts up this one post every year. It's a picture of a Christmas tree, and he said, if this Christmas tree offends you, go fuck yourself. I think I'm gonna post that on when I get off of here. I love that. That speaks volumes. It's just beautiful. It screams at you. If this Christmas tree offends you, go fuck yourself. That really describes how, in a nutshell, how I feel about people who have an issue with Christmas. And that's fine. You're entitled to it, right? You're entitled to love it or hate it. But what you're not entitled to is to enforce your opinion on others. That you're not entitled to. And that bothers me when people want to sit there and force their woke ways on you. I don't give a fuck. That's cool. And look, I've been through it all. I could probably break down the origin of Christmas more than any of these woke motherfuckers. Trust me. So you're preaching to the choir, so to say. You're beating a dead horse, as they say. Okay, you don't need to break down Santa Claus to me. You don't need to break down Nimrod's birthday to me. You don't need to break down the Celtic origins of some of the Christians. Thank you. It's right up my alley. You just confirmed everything, right? You confirmed the occult side of it, right? But don't be a hypocritical Christian sitting there talking about keep Christ in Christmas, right? We see those bumper stickers and signs sometimes with these religious folks, keep Christ in Christmas. You celebrating the wrong birthday. Everything that you're claiming is pagan, so-called in your words, you are participating in when you go to a Christmas mass and you accept that this character called Christ is born on December 25th. So everything you pointing fingers at and judging people for, you yourself are guilty of participating in because you didn't do your research, fool. Okay? So that's to the religious folks who, Christmas is about Christ. Keep Christ in Christmas. I don't celebrate Christmas trees or Santa Claus or this, that, or the other. But fool, you going to church on Christmas. You believe, for the Christians that do believe Jesus is born on December 25th, you've been lied to. Because that's very easy research to go access and prove in about 5 minutes is completely false. All you got to do is look at the Hebrew calendar. All you got to do is go into the book of Luke. You see the angel Gabriel came to Mary in the 6th month of the Hebrew calendar. Do your math. Okay? That would not equate to 9 months later her giving birth to a character called Christ in the month of December. It would take it roughly to around June when you did the math. So what the fuck is they talking about? First of all, ain't no shepherds going to be out tending to their sheep in the winter in the snow. Okay? All you got to do is use... Look, and again, I got no problem. If you want to go to a mass and ritualize it, and we look at it as light emerging from the darkness in a Luciferian perspective. So I look at what you call that Christ consciousness, that light or that intellect is really us going into the darkness and accessing the intellect, the light. It's light, true light emerging from the darkness. And true light or intellect is obtained in darkness. You can't get true intellect or light in light because the light that they're trying to get you to come into, the light they've been promoting for years and indoctrinating with you is the false light. It's artificial light. It's false doctrine. It's false information. It's illusionary information, illusionary intellect, right? They want you to conform and accept all that shit because they don't like the fact that we could take their shit that they throw at us to try to indoctrinate us like Christmas, and we could switch that shit around and make it, I make it my own. You know what Santa represents. Come on. To us on the occult, he's a symbol of the adversary, right? A great symbol of the adversary is how we ritualize it. I told you, you could take Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, and if you really look at it, Samael, Lilith. Why they got to have a Santa Claus and then a Mrs. Claus and stress there's a Mrs. Claus? And speaking of that, made me just think, I need to get some company for Santa Claus here in my house. I think I'm gonna look for some Mrs. Clauses next year. I'm just, you know what, just hit me right now. Revelation, message. I think that's what I'm gonna do. We gotta get some Mrs. Clauses, right? Is it a coincidence? They're representing the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So as soon as you can go, well, Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus represent us, you woke motherfucker. Well, I can go with Santa Claus to me represents the head of the tree, the clip hop, with Samael and Lilith. I can take the colors of the red and white. There's so many things we can do with it, right? So just as somebody has their breakdown of it, we can have our own breakdown of it. That's my point. All right. What else we got here? Take a few more. What time is it? Yeah, we'll stay on about 15 more minutes. I'm gonna wrap this up. Cinnamon Sage says, yes, Christmas is for the kids. I loved when I was a child and I believed in Santa Claus. I still love the old Christmas cartoons, Rudolph and the old Earl Bob. What's his name, man? God, it's bothering me. He's also responding. He did the narration. Hold on, this bothering me. He does the narrations for the original Rudolph. And they have on I know DirecTV has it. They have a holiday channel where you can go on it and you can actually stream. They have all the originals. The original Charlie Brown Christmas, the original Rudolph Frosty. Oh, I got to get his name because it's bothering me. Oh, man. I think it's URL. Hold on. I'm going to get it. Burl Ives. That's, yeah. Yeah, had it backwards. Yeah, he's responsible for a lot of that stuff. Hold on. Burl Ives. He actually died in 95. Yeah. He sings that Holly Jolly Christmas song. But yeah, the original Rudolph, the animated, the original Charlie Brown, all that shit, man. I watch all that shit every year. Right? I just watched that about a week ago, all the ones that you just mentioned. I remember all those were big when we were kids. The animated Rudolph, the animated Frosty the Snowman, all of those things, man. Awesome shit. All right, what else we got? Man, turn that light on. All right, what else we got? Yeah, seeing grandbabies running around making a mess, laughing, and all that stuff, man. And says the best excuse to give your loved ones gifts. What else we got? Hold on, skipped on me here. Yep, 3 is the magic number. I'm just scrolling down. Yeah, I mean, Devin says 3 degrees. I mean, there's so many different occult breakdowns you can get from the number three, right? That's what I'm saying. It's just how you look at it. Okay. I mean, even if you take today's date, right? It basically equals 18. That's nine. 3 times 3 is nine. Right. I mean, you could just there's so many things you can look at. Yeah, 30. Kadan says I keep saying 33. Uh, and it says, do you believe in the archons? I did a whole video on that, right? It's not so much, there's different perspectives on what the archons are. I don't believe, as some people teach, that they're these literal monsters that can devour and destroy you. I'm not saying that you do. So I did it maybe not too long ago, a few weeks back. I can't remember. I broke down the archons and the demiurge. Right, I do believe the archons are representative. You create them as these monsters or demons that they talk about. These are the lower or weaker aspects of yourself that you create that can devour, harm, or hurt you. I don't teach it's a literal place. Like some people believe the demiurge is like a literal place that one can go and be devoured and destroyed. It's the deep aspects of your subconscious mind. It's like the Catholics used in the Catholic Church. They came up with a concept called purgatory, right? For those that may not be familiar with Catholic doctrine, go ahead and look that up, right? And in Catholic doctrine, Catholics believe purgatory is a place in between. What you looking for, buddy? In Catholic doctrine, purgatory is a place they believe you go to before you can enter heaven to burn out all your desires, your weaknesses, or things that are holding you back. Where did they get this concept from? Can't find anything like that in scripture or their Bible. So obviously they're tapping into a concept or a doctrine that's outside of their Catholic doctrine. Uh, the concept of it I do understand, but I know where they got it from. But I do believe archons are lower vibrational frequency beings that you can tap into and connect with when you're vibrating at a lower frequency. And again, this is done when you go into the deep aspects of your subconscious mind and ritual work, or if you're dealing with uh, certain things that can be going on in your life, and your aura and your countenance and your overall vibrational frequency is low. You can tend to attract, quote unquote, what they call archon energy, right? Um, but I believe it's all still something that resides that you tap in and exist with yourself. So I don't want, what I'm saying essentially is, um, I don't teach that it's a place outside of yourself like heaven or hell. And I'm just bringing it up, not saying that you look at it like that. I do, again, it's just like everything else on this path. It's all accessed within, right? It's even like the Bible says that the kingdom of heaven resides within man. And I've said this before. If the Bible says that, why are people going to places built by man's hands called churches and temples and masjids? If the kingdom of heaven resides within man, right? So it's kind of the same concept. And I have no problem with that statement because I do believe that's more closer to the truth than all the other bullshit that they try to um, force upon us. So it's not about believing in anything. We shouldn't believe in anything, right? We need to confirm things we accept as a reality, right? Because when you believe in something, you have faith, and it could be blind faith, faith and trust in things not confirmed, seen, or proven, right? So we have to be careful how we believe. Now, personal belief is a little different than believing or belief as a whole. When you have a personal belief in something, you believe in something because you've confirmed the reality of its existence, right? So maybe people have an experience with archons as some of these demonic monsters that they describe in books, right? That's not my connection and understanding of it, and I don't teach it as such. And I'm not saying that's the perspective you were coming from, but for all those, again, I recently did a video exclusively just on that. I would check that out. I go a little bit more in depth to it. Um, Alternative says the net brings them out for woodwork. Not sure. Yeah, a day lasted forever as a kid. Man, I can't stress that enough, man. When I think back on that, like I said earlier, the summers felt like an eternity. Christmas break. Remember when school came? Christmas break. Oh man, you enjoyed them 2 weeks off, man. Whatever it was. I don't know what it is. Man. And then again, go because you know why it felt like forever? It confirms again what I was saying earlier, how everything is one continuous moment. Time didn't really exist for us when we were locked into that frequency. That's why it felt like it was forever. Now, as we get older, we're so much more conscious of this thing called linear time that we get stressed out about it. Oh man, I don't have time to do everything. Oh man, the day fly. How many of us, we all guilty, say, man, this day flew by. Shit. I just looked at the clock. I do this all the time. It's 2:00. God damn, it's 6:00 right now. Holy shit. What the fuck? But see, because when we were kids and locked in the moment, we didn't pay attention to all the shit we pay attention to as adults. And it felt like it was forever because it was what I'm saying earlier. It was one continuous present moment in the now. And we got lost in it. We didn't really, I mean, think about how sometimes you had to stop and like some of it, when you got out of school in the summer, think about how you had to stop and pause. Like, okay, hold on, it's July. And if you didn't stop and pause and count the physical days left to go back to school, you wouldn't even know. And then I remember when you would go back that first day, it felt like you were gone for an eternity. You came back, you're like, holy shit, it felt like I was gone forever. It's just because you was locked in the moment, right? And it's just the same thing, how you connect into the continuous, it's one continuous moment happening simultaneously. So even with Christmas, like I said earlier, when you're listening to those old classic Christmas songs, when you're tapping into the energy of frequency and it's taking you back to your childhood, this, that, and the other, you're confirming everything that I've been saying since day one. You're tapping into that exact energy you felt as a kid. You wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't one continuous moment happening in the now. Because as I said earlier, I could literally listen to some of those songs or just seeing the decorations. I could sit and reflect, like for an example, before I came on here, right? What I've been doing in addition to working out after I eat, I take a bike ride. I try to now start regular practice with that for about 25, 30 minutes around my neighborhood. And as I'm just riding around the neighborhood before I come on here on my bike, I'm looking at the Christmas decorations and all of it's bringing back memories. I could just look at the decorations and see, it's incredible. So that energy and that frequency and that vibration is continual. It exists. It's always been there. You just got to learn how to tap into it, is what I'm essentially saying. That's what I mean when I say time expands and contracts. It always is, right? That's why I always use that analogy. If you throw a rock into a body of water, we all sometimes experience, most of us throwing rocks as kids into the water. When that rock hits the water, wherever it hits, from the center of where that rock hits, the ripples of the water continue to expand out to what appears to be just evaporate. That's confirming what I'm talking about. That's how time vibrates. So you could be in 2023 and tap into the energy of a Christmas you experienced in 1984. Okay? Yes, that's reality. See, they don't want you to know that because then you're outside of their paradigm of being within their quote unquote time frame, right? We use that word. I mentioned it earlier. What do you do with a picture? You frame it, you trap it, right? When you put a picture in a frame, it is now framed. It is within that frame. And until it's released or free, it's not until you take it, out of the frame. They want to keep you within their time frame. They want to establish the beginning and the end. This is the beginning. This is the end. All you are to know is what I tell you exists between the beginning and that end. So now you're locked in a box inside. Now you're the picture trapped inside the frame that they created, right? So they now have taken you and framed you. You're the picture now inside the frame or the time frame. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to see, okay? It's all connected. The Native Americans had it right. Okay. And I like I said before, that's one thing I always remember of going to Ocmulgee Mound in Macon, Georgia, the Native American mounds. I've been there about 4 times, I think. And you see that sign, you see there the symbol of that tribe of the bird, the great phoenix when you come in, and there's a saying engraved above it, right? When you come in the entrance, all things are connected. And they had it right. The shamans had it right. The shamans knew time was an illusion. The shamans knew. Why do you think they used stuff like hallucinogens to initiate people to become shamans? Because the goal was to activate every aspect of the subconscious mind, the good and the bad. Part of a shaman initiation is facing all your personal demons that you created, your fears, all of that stuff. Okay? Because they know it's all there. It's not back then. It's not ahead there. It's there, right? You've got to learn to connect with it. That's all. Not really that complex. It's only as complicated as we make it. But yeah, they lasted forever. Kadane says, I have a dagger with a raven head and I received a message to glue small skulls onto the handle. I was wondering what it represents. A lot of things. But we'll talk about that in your next mentorship call. But I would definitely do it. I'll explain that to you. That's personal for you. Just make sure when we have our call, you bring that up. I'll explain that further. All right. Anya says, going to your room was a punishment. Now going outside for kids is a punishment and they love staying. Man, you hit it right on the fucking head, man. You're so right with that. Because these kids don't want to go outside because they want to play Xbox, Nintendo, and is that even a thing anymore, Nintendo? I don't fucking know. Or they want to be on their phones or their iPads or their tablets playing games. That's the downside to technology. It's taking away our natural ability. And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to elaborate even deeper in the end of the year class. That's part of the programming process, because one thing that the pineal gland needs consistently to function correctly is sunlight. Okay? I'm going to talk about the importance of vitamin D and natural sunshine and sunlight. See, think about this now. All this technology is keeping us indoors now. They want to keep kids indoors. Think about why we turned out the way we turned, because we were always outdoors and exposed to the elements. We were always exposed to the air, which sometimes, depending on where you live, could be good or bad. Pollution. I'm going to talk about pollution too. I'm going to talk about how electromagnetic currents from devices, all of these things affect your pineal. Trust me when I tell you, I'm going to break that down in that class. But natural sunshine is important for us to be exposed to. It's one of the reasons why I headed down south to the Sunshine State. The bad thing, especially when you get older, it's tougher for your body to be in those colder environments as you get older. And you need even more sunlight as you get older. When you're getting less sunlight and you have other deficiencies and illnesses that kick in, the cold weather, unfortunately, can become very abusive to your body, mentally and spiritually and physically. Okay? I'm going to get into all that. But yes, the kids going outside to play, man, you remember when you were a kid, you couldn't wait to go outside and play. You used to hate being in the damn house. Remember, you used to have to do household chores. Yo, don't go outside till you clean your room. Don't go outside till you make your bed. Did you clean up the kitchen? Did you vacuum? Did you take the trash? You remember them days? These fucking kids ain't got no responsibilities now, man. These kids ain't got no fucking responsibilities now. We couldn't wait to get outside. Now, like you say, just hit it on the head. These kids don't want to go outside no more. It's like a punishment to them. Like I say to the average kid, go outside and play, huh? Sad. It really is. That's the downside, to technology and shit like that. But you as an individual parent can change that. Okay? Good thing with my son, he does like to go outside, He's active. Keep these kids active. Get them involved. It doesn't have to just be sports. Obviously, if your kid loves sports and you can do it, get them active. Sports is a great thing for them because it teaches them social skills, how to interact with people. And if you're playing in a good sports program, it teaches them discipline. These are things they could take with them, even if they don't become a professional basketball, football, baseball, or hockey player. These are just life skills they'll take with them forever that will benefit them. Keep your kids active. If it's not a sport, if they have an activity, a hobby, something, Keep the mind stimulated. Like my little guy loves these Lego projects, right? He puts together these crazy, now they got all types of Lego shit. I can't even do it. I'm lost. I look at that shit like he just put together some motor and some car and some, I don't know what the fuck he did. But he was in there all day doing it. He gets it done. He takes the instructions, reads it, and takes thousands of pieces. I can't do that shit. I ain't got no patience for that. But keep them, if they're gonna be indoors, keep them active. Don't just put them in front of a TV all day. Don't just put them here. Here's a tablet in their hands all day and they just watching trash on a tablet. Then that's your responsibility. That's your fault if they turn out fucked up. And unfortunately, that's what some people do. They just put them in front of a TV or hand them a tablet. And now they're watching crap all day. Make them do things that are going to stimulate their mind, projects, creative things, sports, activities. That's how they're going to turn out right. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, the playing outside, it's pretty much for the month. I mean, shit, even when I go back home to New York, you don't even see it out on the streets like that no more. I mean, yeah, it's there, but it's not there like it used to be. I remember in the summertime, you couldn't walk every other block you went to. It seemed like there was kids out in the street playing. You go back to New York in the summertime now, for those of you that still live there, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's people out, but they ain't out like they used to be, kids, right? Even in the wintertime, shit, we'd be out there in the wintertime, like I say, playing football on the street, running up and doing whatever. We was out, though. We put our jackets on, our gloves, our hats, and we out there playing. Now, nah, it's changed. Yeah, but when everybody knew everybody, all trans. That's what I was saying. Man. Like I say, I would never, I could never let my kid do what I did as a 9, 10. I'm 9, 10 years old. I'm roaming the neighborhood everywhere. I'm riding my bike everywhere. It was a different time. And your parents weren't paranoid that something was going to go wrong or something would happen to you. And I think back, nothing, quote unquote, super major drastic ever really happened to kids, right? Everybody looked out for everybody. It was a different time. Cinnamon says, I love back in the day when no one could reach you unless they left a message on your answering machine, where we had our cute messages with music in the background. Yeah, the answering machine. That's what I'm saying, man. There was no cell phones. There was no FaceTiming. We didn't have all this technology, right? You either had, I mean, that was considered technology back in the day, an answering machine. That was like, at that time, that was like the highest form of phone technology, right? That's just how it was. And you know how it's crazy? I said this before many times in the past. It's so crazy how people get addicted to technology. Because I grew up in a time where people act like now they can't survive. If they leave the house without their phone, they can't survive. Like, oh my God, we grew up, we didn't have nothing as a teenager. We didn't have none of that shit. We were fine. We went everywhere. Just think about how you grew up. You traveled, hung out, you went to the roller skating rink, the bowling alley, clubs, house parties. You stayed out to the wee hours of the night. You didn't have a cell phone. You survived. Just think how we had to link up. We either had to physically go to people's houses, you go pick up your friends, or you knock on your boy's door. Hey, man, that's how we gathered our friends back in the day. We might have placed a phone call and then knock on the door. I'm coming by at this time. That's it. That's the communication we had. See, the upside, I think, to that is we weren't exposed to a lot of the negative shit that comes along with this technology. The downside, yes, it may have been less convenient. But to me, when I reflect back now, as I'm getting older and I compare the two, I think it was much more of a simpler time, a less stressful time when it came in regards to things like that. That's just my opinion. People might feel completely the other way. I don't know. To me, it was a more simpler time. I think if this didn't exist, a lot of us wouldn't be as stressed out and aggravated with all the bullshit we got to deal with this, just with calls and people and other nonsense. Just think, mostly if you got a job. Remember back in the day, if you had a job, they couldn't catch you at the house. They couldn't catch you. Some of us are in a line of work where this can be a kryptonite to us, because we always got to deal with nonsense because of this. We got people calling us with bullshit all the time. So there's an upside and a downside. But yes, definitely. Same thing to you, Urban Alchemist. Happy holidays. Oh, a record player? Hell yeah. I still have. I bought obviously not my original record player when I was a kid, but you can actually get them online. I got one a few years back. It's actual wooden. It opens up. It's a record player. It also plays cassettes and CDs, but it looks like a old style. You could still buy them. But I used to have the old school joint with the needle that came up where you could put a stack of 45s, and after it played one, the next one would drop. Literally, after you play a 45, it would lift, go off, the next record would drop. It had a setting on it. I thought that was like technology to us back in the day. But shit, yeah, man, record players, shit. See, I didn't grow up with no, like, nowadays these kids, they got TVs and shit. We didn't have no TVs in the room. The only thing I had in my room growing up was a record player, and I'd be in that motherfucker listening to records. I could be in there all day listening to records. I mean, back in the day, we used to go to the store. You used to be able to buy 45s. They didn't just have 12 inches, right? Back in the day, they used to sell singles that were 45s and 12-inch singles. Like the DJs that had like the SP12s, they would buy the 12-inch singles because they needed them to mix, work parties, clubs, make music. But for us to have record players, man, we used to buy the 45s. Like if there was a popular song on the radio or a single, right? We go get the 45. They used to sell them shit. I'm going back to the early to mid 80s. They used to sell them for like $2.49. If I'm not I remember I used to go to the record store with $20. I come out there with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different 45s, and I go, man, I had a collection of 45s. It's coming in little square papers. Then you just have to get the little plastic things that went in the middle in order for them, because they used to have the big holes, and you used to have to drop them on. You couldn't put them on the. I got another old school term. They actually were called Vitrolas before they were called record players. So that's going back even old school. But yeah, man, record player. Man, if you had a record player in the room, shit, that was the shit back in the day. But I have a record player. I do have some vinyl. Because vinyl is very nostalgic to me. There's nothing like cleaning your records, making sure the needle was good. You didn't want to have your records scratched. Because, man, it was nothing like when one of your favorite records was either warped, right? Sometimes you get a record that was a little bit warped, or it might have been had a scratch. You used to get mad as fuck when they would skip on a certain part, and you do it all. Man, you used to take a little bit of alcohol. There's many different ways we had cleaning them or getting the scratches or the warps out. But, man, yeah, hell yeah. Shit, record player? Damn. Yeah. Most definitely, man. That was the great. I got one. My first one, I think I got when I was like 12. Got it for Christmas. I thought it was the best present I ever got in my life. I thought my parents were rich when they got one for me. I was like, holy shit, I got a record player? Because you didn't have shit in your room. You just had the basics. Wasn't like these kids today. I never had a TV in my room growing up. Never. Right? Now it's like a normal thing. These kids got widescreen TVs in their room now like it's nothing. We didn't have that shit. We had one TV in the house. That was in the living room. And whatever my father watched, everybody watched. He didn't have a choice. So you had to sit down with your entire family in them days in the living room if you were fortunate enough to have a TV. And then, when the VCR came, oh shit, forget it. VCR. There was not like, I remember growing up as a kid, that was a big event on the weekend. My father would go to a video store, get movies. I'd go with him. He said, hey man, hop in the car, let's go pick some movies. I think that was the greatest thing in the world. On weekends, you sit at home, first VCR we got was a JVC top load. Remember the one that used to come up? Not the one you load in the front. It used to lift up and put the tape in, push it down. Oh man, shit. We thought we was like coming up and shit. We got a fucking VCR, what? And then the TV, we only had the basic. It wasn't no fucking cable. Shit, we had channel 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. And then we get some UHF channels. Like 47 was like the Spanish channel, Lucha Libre. Used to watch wrestling and shit on there. You catch some UHF channels, man, in New York too. So Ralph McDaniel's Video Jukebox, that was channel 31 on UHF. Because remember, that first was broadcasted on UHF. So I remember I used to try to catch the feed of that all the time. Then sometimes you had to take the pliers or you had the antenna. It was fucking crazy, the shit we did. Or if your handle broke on the TV, you'd use the pliers to turn it. And listen, man, these kids today don't know how good they got it, man. We didn't have none of that shit. Okay, we didn't have any of that shit. All right, what else we got? Um, yeah, Urban Alchemist. That's a good vibe. And yeah, I mean, like I said, you can get record players. They're available. Amazon. You can get them on Amazon. Or just go on the internet and Google them and then hit the shopping part. Like I said, I got a classic old school wooden one. It's made like that. And yeah, you can play vinyl on it. And I'm fortunate to have a store here, here in North Fort Lauderdale. They sell old vinyl, so that's kind of where I go. You can find a lot of shit in there. But it's just a great nostalgic feeling. I feel you on that one. That's the whole point. It's nothing like, to me. It's like, I'm not big on digital books. I have a lot of digital books. I have Kindle. I have Scribd. I have a lot of stuff saved. More so when I'm traveling. That's the only time I really fuck with digital books. It's like a record player is the same thing. It's like not like taking a good book in your hands and reading it and holding it. It's the same nostalgic feeling. Yeah, the apps are great. You know, you got all these music apps now. You hit a button, you got everything. But man, when you're like playing the record, it's a different feeling, man. It's very nostalgic. Tyrone Time says, "Do you know about saying folk art?" I actually don't. I'd have to look that up. Maybe I know it under something else. So off the surface, no. I will look into it though, so I don't want to say that I do. Yeah, there's the website. Put in there, charitywater.org for earlier. Santa Claus is coming to town. Papa Naga, shout out. Appreciate you, brother. Tall and Thin 120 says, "Brother, we need you keep shit real 100 could listen to you for I appreciate that. I try my best. You know, some people gonna love it, some people gonna like it, some people gonna hate it." Anthony, did you hear? I appreciate that, Anthony. Thank you. All right, what else we got? I'm gonna wrap this up, people. All right. Okay, Reader says, "Well, I think I explained. I don't know what when you came on. Um, when I was talking about false light, I was talking about false information. That's my definition of systems of indoctrination that they force upon us. For an example, a lot of religious dogma. That would be one example of what I'm referring to. False light. For you, you say it's the law of one. Raw material people. Raw material law states if you do not serve, you will keep on reincarnating. Well, it's two perspectives on it. Depends on what you're serving, right? First of all, you should never be in a system of servitude and serving anything outside of yourself in the form of worshiping, because that's one of the systems of indoctrination. They constantly have us in servitude, worshiping their false concepts and ideologies and dogmas, right? So there's many different perspectives on that, right? So depends. Now, serving and helping others, I got no problem with that, right? That's a form of serving, right? There's different perspectives and concepts of what serving is. So serving to help others and doing things like that, got no problem with. But worshiping and taking an inferior approach of servitude to something outside of yourself, that nah, I'm not down with that at all. And I'm not saying you were coming from that perspective. I'm just elaborating further on that question for others that might be listening. That's all. What else we got? Take a few more here. Anthony, just shoot me an email with a full list of your days and times you're available, and then I can shoot some dates that work with your schedule, and then we can go from there. That's the best way to do it. Yeah, you used you use the rubbing alcohol and a cloth to clean the record. That's what we did, man. You know, when the records, there's nothing like getting a record with a scratch, man. Oh, the Betamax, shit. Betamax never really hit it off big though. Because remember, the Betamax came before the VCR, and I remember my uncle was fortunate to have one. We never did the Betamax because I can't remember. I mean, it was around for a short period of time. It just never really caught on. And then the VCR came on the scene. So I'm gonna say the Betamax, maybe I could be off on this. I know early 80s. It might have been the 80s. My time could be a little off on that, but definitely around. I know it was for a hot minute in the early 80s. And then the VCR came right behind it. And everybody went to VHS tapes. And then obviously the CDs, not the CDs, the DVDs. And then now, shit, DVDs, though you can still get them, they exist. Everybody's now streaming everything now. So again, like the music, the movies now, you can stream everything. You don't need, and I got a shitload of DVDs. Shit, I still got some VHS tapes, let alone DVDs. But yeah, man. All right, what else we got? Yeah. That's what we used to do too when the grown-ups fell asleep and you try to get up and change the channel. And it's like that little movement would wake them the fuck up. And then you're like, fuck. And, yeah, man, that's how it was back then, man. Everybody, you watched what your parents, or mainly my father, whatever my father watched, we watched. Shit, I can go back to some classic shows we used to watch back then, man. Fucking Jeffersons, Good Times, Three's Company, Soap. The Benny Hill Show. These are shows I remember my father used to like to watch. One Day at a Time. Man, you name it. I mean, I could run through a list of them. Different Strokes. Last American Hero. The Original Wonder Woman. $6 Million Man. The Bionic Woman. The Hardy Boys. Nancy. I mean, I could run through a bunch of them shows from back in the day. Yeah, we used to watch as a kid. Buck Rogers. Shit, I'm going through a bunch of them, man. Crazy shit. Yeah, me too, Ultra Instinct. I'm not big on the digital. Not big on the digital books. All right, listen, probably went over a little bit longer than I wanted to. I just wanted to come on here, do one last live for the year, just to update you guys on a few things. I think I did that. I do have a video I recorded earlier today. I'm going to upload that shortly. Just give me about an hour or so. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here for one last live for the year. I'll get back at it hard with the lives starting in January. I just wanted to wish everybody, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I hope everybody's enjoying their holiday. I'm fortunate. I'm off. I've been off since Thursday before Christmas. I don't go back to work till January 3rd. I got some stuff I'm doing with the little guys, got some hockey tournaments and just family shit, and I'm enjoying it. So again, hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and enjoyed it. I hope everybody, whatever you do for New Year's, be safe. I hope everybody enjoys their New Year. Enjoy the rest of this holiday season. If you didn't catch the beginning of the video, the 12 days of Christmas ritual working, but I have a video I shot earlier describing that. I'm going to put that up. Hopefully you guys can participate and keep this energy going. And I'll see you guys that are on the Patreon or signed up for the class Thursday nights, 2023, end of the year, 2024 prophecy class. I'll see you guys Thursday, December 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a fun night to finish out the year. New Patreon content for the month of January. I will be posting that probably in a couple days. Maybe I'll work on that tomorrow. So look for the January content to come out either tomorrow or the next day. I will be working on that. And we'll get our new year going for January, man. So guys, enjoy the rest of your holiday season. Be safe. It is what it is, man. I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate your support. I appreciate all you guys, all you do. And I wish nothing but for the best for you and your family. And we'll talk soon, all right? Eternal blessings. I'm out. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.